Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the other side of the corner. Welcome to your latest Chelsea transfer news. Money, 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 money. Money, 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 money. I mean, ladies and gentlemen, it's incredible. It's incredible. Orny, who makes us all nice and horny, has dropped another bombshell. Well, to be honest, it's not really much of a bombshell. We knew about this. I definitely knew about this. I've been talking about this for the longest period now. Since we've been linked with Delap, since Delap has joined in, then we got the introduction of Gianpedro and the way Gianpedro played in the Club World Cup. I've been saying, look, Nicolas Jackson, he ain't going to be a Chelsea player. No way he's going to be the third option. And now it looks like he's likely going to move. And Fabrizio Romano has been beating this drum for a very, very long time that look out for Nicolas Jackson, look out. And you know, we'll be getting some briefs here and there saying that, look, he's going to fight for his position, this, that, the other. He's going to fight in the training ground. Now, no fighting, no fighting. Look, Nicolas Jackson's move away from Chelsea is inevitable. It's going to have to happen. When you've got Liam Delap, you've got Pedro, those two are going to be preferred ahead of him. Yes, hypothetically speaking, is Jackson not better than both of them? Maybe. But the problem here is, look, I think his time at Chelsea Football Club is up. Don't get me wrong. I still rate the player. I've always rated him. I thought he's got a very good underlying skill set. I've talked about this many a times, but I've also said he's got some major flaws as well. Now, if those flaws are going to be fine-tuned down the track, one day he gets rid of those flaws. I don't know. I don't think so. From what we've seen so far, maybe this is it for Nicolas Jackson. If we wait around for too much longer, I think his price starts to decline, and this is probably the peak price. And there is going to be a domino effect. And he is a man in demand. He definitely is. This is why we're starting to see many clubs picking up the phone, contacting Chelsea and saying, "Cow, Chelsea, tell us a little bit more about Nicolas Jackson. Tell us the ins and outs, the stipulations, the conditions as to why and how we can get Nicolas Jackson." So, look, we've seen the recent bid from Newcastle. Newcastle are desperate for a striker. They're going for Sesko. If Sesko don't accept them and ends up going to Man United, then Newcastle is going to look for a striker. If Man United don't get Sesko, they might be going for Ollie Watkins, and then that means Aston Villa might be looking for a striker. If Ollie Watkins doesn't leave Aston Villa, then Man United could be looking at Nicolas Jackson, and we're already linked with Garnacho, and there could be a potential, I wouldn't necessarily say a swap situation, but a gentleman's agreement that, hey, we'll take Nicolas Jackson and you guys take Garnacho. So all of that nonsense could happen. But the bottom line is, ladies and gentlemen, Nicolas Jackson, he's going to fetch a lot of money, man. He's going to fetch a lot of money. If Newcastle, for instance, doesn't end up getting their man Sesko, and he does say he wants to go to Man United, then we know what Newcastle did over the last 12 hours. They put on a bid for 90 million euros for Benjamin Sesko. That's 10 million add-ons included. So you already know someone like Nicolas Jackson, you better pay up that type of money. Honestly speaking, Nicolas Jackson isn't any less of a player than Benjamin Sesko. If anything, I probably would rate Nicolas Jackson a lot more because of the Premier League experience. So, look, we are going to be set to get a lot of money for Nicolas Jackson. So let's have a look at the latest news. Now, before we get into the latest news, there's news in regards to the madness that we've done so far in this window. We've sold nearly approximately up to 200 million, as you can see on the screen, and we're looking to sell further 100 to 150 million. This is incredible level of business. I don't think I've seen this level of business in a while. Some clubs have that type of money as their budget to spend, which is incredible. So we're going to talk about that. And Wesley Fofana, the online shenanigans master, the final boss, as my main man Ashraf says. Well, lovely friend of ours on this channel and a viewer as well. Ashraf keeps talking about the final boss, and this guy could be another final boss. There's quite a lot of final bosses, Garnacho being one of them. Wesley Fofana is another one, and we got some interesting comments to make about Wesley Fofana. Now, before we get into that, let's talk a little bit more about Nicolas Jackson. David Ornstein, who makes us all nice and horny. Nicolas Jackson increasingly likely to leave Chelsea suitors in the Premier League and abroad, considering 24-year-old, if do not land top target, lose existing players or alongside current options. Chelsea sales completed, agreed at 200 million plus, with 100 to 150 million more expected. Wow. Chelsea Stock Exchange, man. Chelsea FC Stock Exchange. My days. Bear, bull market, options, derivatives. Get to know Stock Exchange. Buy low, sell high. This is what we do. Nicolas Jackson, look, ladies and gentlemen, there's a lot of clubs. There's a lot of suitors out there, you know, as David Ornstein has mentioned here, clubs that do not land their top target. Nicolas Jackson becomes an option. Clubs that lose their existing players, Nicolas Jackson becomes their, target. So look, I see a lot of people in social media getting a bit annoyed and upset about, oh, why are we getting rid of Nicolas Jackson? How are we we can't last next season with just two strikers, João Pedro and Liam Delap. This is crazy. We need a third one in there. Look, let me tell you guys something. Let me talk to you, as Ellen I would say, right? I love Ellen, by the way. Nicolas Jackson, it's not about, us not wanting to keep him. We would like to keep him. I think some of the briefs are true. We're not desperate to let him go. I think the problem here is Nicolas Jackson wants to go because he doesn't want to be seen as the number 3 option here. He sees that Delap is there. He sees João Pedro is there. And he feels that, you know what? Am I really going to get a lot of game time? I've been the number 1 Chelsea striker for the past 2 seasons. All of a sudden, my minutes are going to get slashed like that. No, I want to be an importante player somewhere else. I want to be able to play for Man United as the number 1 striker, or play for Newcastle as the number 1 striker. Newcastle are in the Champions League as well. So it's not really Chelsea's problem here. It's more, I feel, Nicolas Jackson's problem. And this is why sometimes when I see these briefs that, oh, he would like to stick around and fight. Look, it's great saying that you want to stick around and fight. But look, the bottom line is fighting is only possible if your manager also allows you to fight and compete. If your manager feels that, look, my first option is João Pedro, then my next option is Delap, then it's very difficult to fight. So, look, I wouldn't get too worried about it. I think number 1 pick will be João Pedro. If João Pedro sometimes wants to play on the side or alongside Delap, then that might be the situation. Don't forget Pedro Neto at times can play up front. Xavi Simons can be thrown up front as well. There's many scenarios that we can try. I don't think we need to worry about this too much. There's enough healthy competition, and there's players that can fill in those positions if we need a little bit of cover. It's not ideal, but that's the thing. No club will have, 3 out-and-out strikers that compete. You generally have 2, maybe 1 from the academy that gets the odd opportunities here and there. But that's it. You're not going to get a third. A lot of people are like me, are we going to get a third striker? I don't think so. Our last attacking player, hopefully once we get Xavi Simons, after that is going to be Garnacho, and that is it. Pedro Neto will end up being that option if Delap and João Pedro are not available for certain reasons, whether it's injury, whether it's suspension, whether it's whatever the case is. Pedro Neto will fill in just the way he did last season as well. So we're not going to go out there and no top third striker is coming to be a third striker. Do you know what I mean? And I don't think there is a top third striker out there. And we don't want to go into the market purchasing, older players. We just don't do that anymore at Chelsea Football Club under this new regime. So, ladies and gentlemen, as I've said it in many of the videos, I'll be shocked. I'll be absolutely shocked if Nicolas Jackson still ends up being a Chelsea player by the end of the window. So let's see what's going to happen. That Liverpool money for Isak, Liverpool going for Isak for huge money. Yeah, maybe part of that money might be coming to us if Newcastle don't end up with Benjamin Sesko. So watch this space. We're going to get some importante money for Nicolas Jackson. Check this out. Chelsea FC have accumulated more than 200 million in the current transfer window. They are forecasting another 100 million to 150 million before deadline. Incredible. Honestly, unprecedented. This is why I've been saying over the past 2 to 3 months since the run from that Fulham game in the Premier League to us making it into the Champions League, winning the Conference League, and that a fantastic run in the Club World Cup. I've been saying, look, when things go right, when things in the current state is looking good, you start appreciating business. When things don't look good in the current state, you don't appreciate business because the football needs to be good first. Football is good now, and this level of money, I have to say, once again, kudos to the owners, to the directors. I mean, 200 million already raised, and a further 100 to 150 million. That's close to 350 million to be raised potentially in this window. That's, as I've said, that's some clubs and their budget for the entire window, and we're just collecting that as sales. Incredible, sensational. This is it. We are treating players as commodities. We have started a stock exchange type of a situation here at Chelsea Football Club, where our owners, businessmen, they've looked at football and they've started to realize that, you know what, this is not just a revenue stream. This is a mad way to make insane level of money. It really is. Do you know what I mean? Like, go out there, find those gems, buy them for less, and then see if you can flip them for profit. And sometimes we're even flipping average players for profits as well, which is incredible. So look, already this window, Jean-Felix, KDH, do you know what I mean? Like Wesley, Leslie Uguchuku. Some of the fees that we're getting, Madueke, like it's incredible. It's incredible, ladies and gentlemen. Fantastic. Now, I wanted to talk about this. Wesley Fofana. We're gonna take sweet bit of moment to talk about this. This player, he makes me laugh. Honestly, I'm not even irate. I just find the whole thing funny. This is what he put up on Instagram yesterday. And look, all of these players, we've had recent. Let's quickly go through this, and we'll talk about some of the other players, what they've been putting on their Instagram recently. Wesley Fofana on Instagram, they like to talk too much. They like to talk too much, and he's got the he's sleepy. He's sleepy. Yeah. Don't be too sleepy. So this is what Wesley Fofana put up on his Instagram. Now, before I drill in on this, right? We've recently seen Malo Gusto. Look at what he's posting on his Instagram, talking about trophies, talking about, I've felt the taste of success. Now I want to go for more. We've seen Levi Colwell and his recent interview and how he's moving. We've seen other players like Enzo Fernandez, Cucurella, and many more. Look at the stuff they're putting on their, Instagram stories and how they're consistently talking about trophies. My man, he coming out and saying they like to talk too much. Oh, first of all, who's they? Who's they? I ain't talking about Wesley. Sometimes I even forget that he's our player. Honestly, sometimes I even forget he's our player. They like to talk too much. If anything, Wesley Fofana, you're the one who talks a lot. You're the one who keeps putting all of these Instagram stories, messages, this, that, the other. Why are you having a dig? Why are you having a dig at the Chelsea fans for? How about you try and stay fit, because you've been at Chelsea Football Club for 3 seasons and you've barely played ball? How about the common sense approach would be, let's keep the mouth shut a little bit and let's just focus on myself, as opposed to online shenanigans, trying to be the online final boss. It's not a good look. You're unnecessarily going to invite nonsense coming your way. And look, have a look at this post under PYS and look at the comments. Don't even worry about me. Look at all the different comments. My brother Ashraf is already there. Oh, brother, trust me, you ain't ready for the talk when you're injured again. This guy has always been, look at Shay saying they'll talk because you're the loudest among all the players, yet you can't even stay fit. A simple "we are back" caption would have done. Drama quiz. Exactly. Well, whatever happened to, try and mingle with the fans as opposed to try and be against the fans? And this is the biggest difference. My man's thinking about fighting with the fans, where other players right now are thinking about winning trophies and trying to get along. As I said, Wesley Fofana, read the room, man. You've not been available. You've played like there's a stat that's gone around. In fact, let me see if I can bring it up. He's apparently played like only 29% of the Premier League. Let me see if I can bring this up. I think Patty had it. Like, it's incredible. It's incredible. It's absolutely incredible. I'm pretty sure Patty had it. Let's have a look. This is Lavia. He did Lavia there. That's Michaela Mudryk, Reece James, Wesley Fofana. There you go. Joined 2022. 75 million pounds we paid. Wow. And he's on big wages as well. Premier League matches available 114. Matches played 29, 25%. And this guy's talking about they talk too much. This guy's talking about this. They like to talk too much. Brother, how about you do some talking on the field? They talk too much. I said recently, I posted that out, I quote tweeted P. Wise and said, who's they? This guy must be hearing voices like Randy Orton. Do you know what I mean? I hear voices in my head. It's Randy Orton. Honestly, it's Randy Orton stuff. Matches missed, injury, 85 minutes played, 2,226 goals won. In the Premier League, 39%, 15 out of 38 in 2022, 2023. In 2023, 2024, 0. 2024, 14 out of 30. Like look, average cost per appearance, 2.59 million. 2.59 million. And my man has the audacity to put this. Look, the bottom line is, ladies and gentlemen, Wesley Fofana, brother, focus. Lay off the social media for a little bit. Don't try and anger the fan base. They like to talk too much. They like to talk too much. Who's they, bro? Who are you talking about? Who's they? And do you blame them? You're barely available. So focus, concentrate, let's try and win trophies. Before that, try and stay fit. How about that? And we'll take it from there. Simple messages on Instagram. I don't know who's doing this nonsense for him. He's always putting up silly stuff. So someone needs to help him in the online space. Ladies and gentlemen, let me know your thoughts about everything we spoke about. Smash up the like button if you're here for the first time. Subscribe, hit the bell notification to stay in touch with all my content. Until next time, take care. See ya. Bye.